Robert, how are you?
Hi, how
It's
you
so
doing?
nice to see you.
Oh, thank you.
Please take a seat.
Thanks.
So, how have you been since our last meeting?
I've been alright. I've been thinking about like what you said, what we talked about last time we met, and I'm just trying to work really hard, and with myself and with my family, with the issues that we're facing, and just taking it day by day.
Okay, all right. So, to recap from our last meeting, you're living in your apartment in Brooklyn with your wife and 2 children, correct?
Yes, we're at the apartment right now, and as we're having a really hard time with our struggling, and um, I'm just fighting really hard to stay sober, as I mentioned before.
Right. So, yeah, in the last meeting, you were expressing concerns for your problems with alcohol. I'd like to hear some about your major concerns.
Just been really worried about losing our apartment because I lost my job, as I mentioned to you the first time around, and I've been, having a hard time finding a job, and it's hard because it makes me somewhat, depressed. So I kind of like go back to drinking because it comforts me, and like sometimes I have good days, sometimes I have bad days, sometimes I find myself, drinking more than other days, and I'm worried about my kids too because I don't want them to think that I'm not a good role model, and or my losing my children due to just the way that I've been acting right now with my life and the way that I've been handling myself.
Right. So, have you ever tried to solve this problem before?
Um, I tried on my own, you know, like try to cut back, I guess, but it's hard because like where I was working, it's mostly guys, so they always want to go grab a drink at the bar or on the weekends, and whatever else, and I found it really hard because it's like you have temptation around you, and like I tried, but I always go back fine, and like whenever I had a good day at work, like I will be fine, but then if I had a bad day or my boss, yelled at us or got upset with us, I would like go back to just drinking, or even if I had got into an argument with my wife about, the kids or something, I would go back instead of like arguing, I would just go out, go for a drink or go buy beer and just drink it at the corner or something.
So you're saying these things are preventing you from solving your problem, your coworkers' drinking habits, and okay.
Yeah, like my coworkers are just, some of them are younger than me, so, they don't have kids, so they want to go out a lot. They want to just party, basically.
Right. So you said in the last meeting that you're not working now.
No, I'm not, and now I lost my job because fortunately, I showed up a little drunk to work, and
Drunk to work. Okay.
yeah, and my boss caught on because it wasn't the first time, and I guess he smelled it in me, and since it was a hot day, I guess I was sweating, and alcohol goes through the pores or whatever, so and then he just he called into his office and he said he fired, and
Right.
that's when it kind of hit me, and after that, that's when I came to you, basically.
So okay, I'd like to focus a little bit on yourself right now. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
I'd like to know just maybe some strengths you have. For example, maybe hobbies, values, if you see religion as a strength, maybe family or friends, or maybe any other strength you can think of.
Well, I am very, we're Catholic in my family, and we don't go to church a lot, but I do believe in God, and I'm trying to, put my faith in that where, it can become strong enough to have self-control, and I'm very family orientated, so like I said before, I want to be a good role model for my kids, and I don't want them to say, my dad's an alcoholic in the future when they get older, because right now they're a little young, but if this continues, it's just gonna affect everything. I don't wanna lose my wife, I don't wanna lose my house, and I don't wanna lose myself.
Yeah, so yeah, being a positive role model is really great strength to have. Yeah, so if you don't mind, I'd like to do an exercise with you. Would you be okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, please excuse me for 1 second. I'm just gonna get paper and a pen.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, so Robert, we were talking about your alcohol addiction, and your other problems. I'm gonna make a list of things. You can just write down. Here you go. Here's a pen. What your major concerns are, and list them in order of importance to you, and then we'll talk about it.
It could be anything.
Yeah, any problems you think you're having, that don't let you to move forward in your
Do
life
you
right now.
have another pen? This one's not working.
Oh yeah, sure. Hold
No
on.
problem. Thank you.
And okay, as you're writing your first problem, just read it aloud after you're done, and then we'll discuss it.
Okay, do you want me to write all three of them first?
Whatever you feel comfortable doing.
So you said concerns, right? My three top concerns?
Your problems, as in alcohol.
Oh,
You
okay.
said you have.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
Alright, I wrote three things.
Mhm.
First thing that it's alcohol, and a job, a home, and family.
Okay, so seeing these problems, how do you feel about them? Do you want to change anything, or?
Yeah, I would definitely like to change the top two, like I said, alcohol. I don't want it to control me. I want to, have the willpower
Right.
and have the strength enough to, overface that and, building a new path where I can, get a new job or maybe get my old job back and, keep my apartment that, we had for all these years and keeping my family together because, just fixing at least one of the first two, it can, keep that glued together with my family. It's kind of shaking and breaking apart.
Okay, I'd like to focus now on, rather than your problems, your needs to fix these problems. So, in terms of alcohol, what would you need to do to fix that problem? How do you feel you would deal with it?
Maybe having so with friends, maybe have people who are more who influence me in a more positive manner, or maybe attending some kind of some kind of group, or somewhere where I can find people who are have the same issue as I do, and maybe talk to them or get some kind of help, anything that someone who can guide me, or like you who can sit down and listen to me, and someone who can help me, maybe find a job too, and maybe an organization or something that who has worked with people like me with the same problem, and maybe having my wife to come with me, and that way she could understand a little bit more that it's not just me wanting to drink, it's it's a legit problem, that happens to a lot of people.
Okay, good. So you're setting great goals for yourself. You spoke about having sober friends, and also maybe attending meetings. That would be a really great thing for you. So let's talk about maybe pros and cons.
Okay.
So a pro of your attending AA meetings, what would you consider that to be?
Like the pros of me going.
Mhm.
I guess it would just influence how I feel emotionally. Like I said, maybe being understand how I feel, will understand like the urge, that I feel whenever I feel stressed or upset. And talk to them, and I don't feel ashamed, because sometimes that happens when you are an alcoholic, or you don't want to talk to anyone else because they don't understand you. And I'm just a little afraid of judgment. So, like I won't, from AA, like I don't want someone judging me. I want someone who can actually sit down there and just listen to me.
Of course. So you expressed your religion as being a main point in your life.
Yeah.
Do you have any sober friends and family from there, or friends in your circle that you can go to for advice, or?
Yeah, I have my mom. She's very religious, and she's been a great help, since the beginning with my kids and all. And she's been there trying to help us with what she can financially too, since we're struggling so much. But I tried my best, and I've been reading the Bible and finding, trying to find that inner peace that I need. But like I said, it's hard, like fighting against that, because it goes, it's like something that I can't control. I have that urge where I need to drink, where I, the depression just makes it worse, basically.
Right. And so we talked about an AA setting. Do you think the people there will have the same concerns as you do about being shy and that nobody will understand your problem?
Well, I hope so. I don't know. I'm just worried, and I'm sure that someone there has the same situation. Someone there has kids too, so maybe I can find someone I can relate to, or someone who's been there too, which I hope.
Yeah, I mean, these people ideally are all going there to be sober, so it's a really positive influence on your life and trying to help out your family. So that would be great. So that would be the first step in your goal plan? Is that would be the next step for you, or?
Yeah, I think that's the first step. Finding this place, and hopefully after that, maybe finding a job. Because
right.
If I want to get cleaned up, and once I'm fully clean, then I can go there and start applying places, or people. Maybe I can even try to get my old job back if possible. If my boss sees that I've changed.
So you're clear that sobriety is your first step. You want to be sober, completely sober?
Yeah.
And attend these meetings?
Yeah, I want to try my best for my family, for my kids. They're my motivation, and, myself. Yeah, so I definitely want to become sober, try my best.
Okay, that sounds like a great plan. And then afterwards, maybe moving forward onto finding a job?
Yeah, once my life is more stable, then I can fix everything else. I don't know what you suggest. If you suggest me just focus first on home and the job, or should I just go to AA first?
Well, we have to focus on what you want and what your needs are. So, what do you think is first in your life right now?
Well, it's family. It's first, but being sober, it's important too, because without me being sober, I can't support my family.
Right. Well, you expressed how well of a role model you would want your children to view you as, and you said for that to happen, you would have to be sober, correct?
Yeah. Yes. So like I mentioned before, I don't want my kids being taken away, or them hating me for being an alcoholic in the future. So definitely want to try those things, and just try to find that help there.
Okay, so we're confirming AA meetings is what you're looking for?
Yeah, please set up something.
Okay, yeah. I actually have a list of places. I'll bring them to you, right?
Alright,
So here's a list of places. Would you like to say local in your neighborhood, or would you rather go, what would your,
I would think maybe like to go maybe a little away from my neighborhood just because I don't want everyone to know just yet,
understandable, okay. So, what areas would you be interested to,
Well, I live in Brooklyn, so here I try to get somewhere like, travel wise, just have the train around there, so I could take the train, maybe, a few, like maybe a mile or 2 miles away. I just don't want something around the neighborhood because I just don't want to have my family, like people talking about my family or myself, because I don't need that right now.
of course. So, I have places like Staten Island, maybe, the city,
Okay.
the Bronx.
Staten Island sounds good. It's not too far away, so I can take the bus there.
Okay. There's one actually right off of a bus station, if you would be interested in going there. It's maybe like 15 minutes from your house.
Doesn't sound too bad. Yeah, I could do that. And how often would I be going?
Usually people attend meetings when they're first starting sobriety, like every day or every other day. But it's what you feel comfortable doing.
I would feel comfortable going like every other day.
Every other day. Okay.
So
Okay. I'm actually gonna give you a calendar here,
okay.
so you can keep track of what days you're going.
Okay.
You can just fill it out after the meeting, what days you went, and maybe just like a little note on how you felt.
Okay. So basically, every time I go, I just write down when I went.
Yeah.
And do I write anything else on it? Or?
Just like maybe comments how you're feeling, how your progress is going.
All right, I could do that. That sounds good. Is there anyone that I have to call, or are you going to be doing that? Or?
No, this is for yourself just to keep track, and if you want to come back next session with it and you can explain to me on how it went and how you were feeling and if how much progress you made.
So you're going to be making the appointment for setting up for the AA, or I have to?
I think it would be great if you did, just so you could take steps in getting what you want out of life, getting sober, staying sober, being a great role model for your kids.
Okay, so you guys will follow up then?
Yeah, sure. If you want to make an appointment for your next meeting,
Just make it with the secretary?
no, make it with me right now.
Okay.
What days do you think works best for you for your next meeting?
I would like to come back maybe in like 2 weeks, just so I can tell you how everything's going. I don't want to wait too long because
Of course,
I feel
of
like
course.
if I wait too long, like I might go back,
Don't ever feel like you wait too long. Anytime you want to come here, you're more than welcome to come.
Right, thank you so much. Yeah, so I guess I'll be seeing you in 2 weeks then.
Yeah, it was so great seeing you again.
Alright, thank you. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Have a great day.
Thank you.